Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to make an intro. I couldn't stop staring at my bike. Thing is so beautiful and mint. I can't even talk sometimes just looking at it. Alright. Enough of the cringy intro stuff. This is my 2008 CBR600RR by Honda. And it's funny, I've kind of been going back and forth, and I'm just going to let you guys in on something. I had a problem over the winter time. I was looking at my garage and I saw that I just had 3 sport bikes. Well, the VFR, the RC51, and the CBR600RR. And I had it convinced in my brain that I was going to sell the 600 and also the Supermoto. And I was convinced I was going to sell those 2 bikes and limit the garage to 2 motorcycles. But I just can't do it, guys. I can't get rid of this bike. I can't. I cannot do it. The thought of doing it makes me sick inside. Like, it legit hurts my stomach to think about possibly getting rid of this bike. So I'm not doing it. I'm keeping the bike. I don't care. I don't care that I'm spending $300 a year on insurance and whatnot. It's about $500 a year to keep this thing on the road. I don't care. I'm going to keep spending it. It's an awesome bike. I love it. It has so nostalgic for me. So I'm going to keep it. And just kind of an introduction to the 2019 riding year, I'm going to take each one of my bikes and do a motovlog on each one of them for you guys in a row, just to kind of get you guys back into the groove of things. And I want you to see all my bikes, because it's true, sometimes I don't always video when I'm riding. Let's go ahead and ride. We haven't ridden yet, and I know you guys probably want to hear the bike. It is a graveyard, so I'm not revving it up. I just, respect for the dead, I'm not going to rev out the bike. But I will let you hear the startup. You'll see in the RC51 video, it sounds so much better. The RC51, such a good, like, this bike wins the looks department, the RC wins the sound department. It's funny, I already recorded the RC video. I'm kind of doing this out of whack. I'm going to do this video first, though, because I had the idea to do every single video. So we're going to start with this one, but the way I did the RC video, I was like, this is how it's like to ride an RC51. And I'm going to show you guys what it's like to ride a CBR600RR. Now, in comparison to the RC, I can flat foot this way easier. It's way lower seat height. My leg could be out here and I'm flat footing it with both legs. I'm 5'8", so you don't have to be tall to ride this bike. Another thing too, you reach forward, not a really long reach. The bars are pretty up high. I mean, here's the the clamps, here's the yoke cover, and you can see it's like flat. Like the RC, it's all the way down here. Like the RC, I'd be like this. The CBR is way more comfortable than the RC, and this isn't just a comparison with the RC. I'm just telling you guys that this bike it's comfortable for a super sport. This is with all the super sports in mind: R6s, R1s, ZX6Rs, CBR 1000s. I think Honda makes a very comfortable bike. Hey guys, sorry about the rough transition here. I'm just out riding my bike, and I just remembered that this is after I recorded the video. I didn't ever give you guys an exhaust clip, and I know you guys know what my bike sounds like, but we're out in the middle of nowhere, so let's go ahead and give you guys a quick throttle. Let you guys hear it. These mirrors are obviously aftermarket. The seat and the bars are OEM though, so they used to be aftermarket, but I actually like the OEM feel better. So let's get riding. The first thing you notice with this bike, and mine does have a full exhaust system and a tune and a quick shifter and an auto tune and a lot of different stuff, but it's super smooth, and mine's not as smooth as a stock one. If you have a stock 600, like, you have the poster child of smooth bikes, but this bike's smooth. And it's easy to ride. It's actually a very good introduction into the sport bike world. If you're coming from a 300 and you want to experience a 600, this is an excellent choice. It's, especially after riding the RC51. I've never ridden these bikes back to back before, and I finally did. I rode the RC yesterday and I'm riding this bike today. And I'm telling you guys right now, this bike is so much easier to ride. It's so much more comfortable. The power band is so much friendlier. It's so much lighter. It's so much easier to throw into corners. The handling is amazing on this bike. And the RC is an amazing handling bike on its own regard, don't get me wrong. But with the big V twin engine, the RC weighs like 80 pounds more than this bike, something like that. So you feel it. You just feel it. And also it vibrates a lot. And anyway, enough of the RC. I know I don't want to really make this a CBR versus RC51 comparison, but it's all I have to go off of. This is a very, very comfortable sport bike. It's a comfortable sport bike. And I've had heli bars on these, and if you have a heli bars on these, it's like an FRI, like an old school FRI. It's super comfortable. And if you get like an aftermarket seat, actually the stock seat's fine. I would personally leave the stock seat. I think it's fine. If it, you know, if it doesn't feel comfortable to you right away, give it some time. You might break it in, and you might get used to it. You might figure out how to grab the tank with your legs a little bit more and kind of get the, you know, the stress off the seat. This bike has 25,105 miles on it, and she still looks, and she's 11 years old, she still looks new, she still acts new. Like I said earlier, Honda upped the triple clamps on this a little bit so that the bars are actually pretty comfortable, and they feel comfortable in both race position and regular position. And not only that, but Honda gives you a very thoughtful fuel gauge right there. They do not give you a gear indicator. I added that in myself. The gauge cluster is super easy to read. It's right there. It's easy to read when you're tucked. It's easy to read when you're riding. Actually, when you notice with this gauge cluster is that it's angled up a little bit, which means it's actually easier to see when you just look down at it, opposed to like this. It's a little bit harder to see this way. It's still fine to see, but Honda intentionally angled it up because they knew that this was a bike that people were going to be riding out of the track and on the track. It's a capable track bike, but it's also a very capable commuter-friendly bike, and that's what makes the CBR600RR a fan favorite for most riders. The suspension on the CBR, that is one thing that's completely stock. I am running some Dunlop Q3 tires, Q3 Pluses actually, and they handle great. Handle like it's on rails. The handling is amazing on this bike. Definitely nothing to worry about if you're a new rider, and the great thing about this is it's easy to handle it. I mean, very little input and you lean this bike over. It's the thing about this bike, it's a very, very, very noob-friendly bike. And I know I've said that before a bunch of times. I gotta keep, when I got on the RC, and I forget it, I'm gonna compare it to the RC. I mean, it's all I have to go off of. But when I compare it with the RC is such a advanced bike. Such an advanced bike. I would never recommend it to a new rider. Never. And I seriously mean that. You would be better off starting on a brand new CBR 1000 than the RC51, because at least the new CBR 1000s are smooth, and they have the, you know, ABS and all that stuff that'll kind of protect you. The RC51's not an easy bike to ride. It's really not. It's a capable bike, and it's a cool bike, but it's not an easy bike. But, you know, this bike definitely has some issues. The bottom end power, it doesn't have a lot of bottom end, but like, it's fine. It's not dangerous or anything like that. It's just not a crazy bottom end bike, and I'm okay with that. Like, I actually kind of like top end power better, because then you can ride it a little bit more senseless or sensefully. And then when you kind of get into the top end power, it's, you know, you have the power when you want it, but when you want to just cruise, like, you can cruise, which is what I like about it. I need to take this bike to the track. This would be a fun bike on the track. I mean, no problem. And these Q3 Plus tires, amazing. Absolutely amazing. Oh my fucking god. What are you doing, dude? Holy hell, see? That's why you don't do it. That's why you try not to go too fast. That's unbelievable. The guy's literally idling by. No emergency flashes, nothing. Could you imagine if he was right on the edge of the corner? And that's a gentle reminder that the streets are just not the place for it. I was going a little fast, but he shouldn't be stopped in the middle of the road. I'm sorry, but that's dangerous. I don't care how fast I'm going, that could be dangerous. Unbelievable. Still doing it. Fuck you, dude. I was gonna pull up and just ask him, like, educate him, but you know what? He's moving. I don't know if he's crazy. Avoid road rage. You know, give him a little horn or whatever, that's fine. But avoid the actual confrontation if you can help it. It ain't gonna help you any. Sorry, I'm not the best at riding and talking while in the twisties. I'm just not the greatest at it. And this is what I kind of like to do with the 600. You know, I like to just canyon carve. I mean, I'm not in the canyon, obviously, but this is the corner. Like, could you imagine if he was right there? What would I do? I would have crashed. If I was just going a little bit faster back there, I could have crashed. That's what I mean. It doesn't matter how skillful you are. And in fact, if I had more skill and I was going faster, I would have crashed. Like, that's why in the video I made, like, the ugly truth of sport bikes, I said specifically, it doesn't matter how skillful you are about going around in corners. It's about how brave you are or how stupid you are. Because I have people that I know that ride corners and they're just insanely fast. Insane. And it's like, yeah, like, I mean, you guys have skill, no doubt, but, like, I'm not even going to come near your potential because I'm not willing to risk it. I'm not willing to go that far. Aside from that, dickhead, it's been a pretty nice ride, though. So, yeah, what's it like to ride the CBR? It's just amazing. It's an amazing bike. People say these bikes are boring because they're so smooth and so whatever. I will say this, I don't like the CBR on the highway. Like, if I know we're riding the highway, I don't really like it. It's kind of buzzy, and it's kind of, I mean, it rides the highway just fine. It's planted, it doesn't feel unsafe or anything like that. This bike is so nice to ride, too. Oh, it's so comfortable, and it has so much good stuff. It's reliable, it's handles good. I don't know, it's a good bike. But yeah, guys, I'm just gonna end up repeating myself. I already know it. I mean, just because nothing really else to say. The bike feels great. The engine pulls insane on the top end. It's not so much on the bottom end. This is me recapping, by the way. The suspension, it's great, amazing. The thing about this bike is it's a very capable bike, but it's also a very beginner-friendly bike. It's a very friendly, capable bike. That's the reason why these bikes are so popular. You can do anything with them, man. You can be a hooligan with it. You can be a you can be a very respectable rider with it. You can be a little bit in between, kind of like me. I mean, you can take it to the track. You can take it to class. You know, you can go to school with it every day. I mean, it's an amazing bike. Honda knocked it out of the park with this bike. They really did. And I'm so glad that I own an example of such a fine, beautiful machine. Thank you all so much for watching to this point. All I can say is thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But, alright guys, take care. Ride safe. Be careful of those dickheads who park their cars in the middle of the road right after a corner. Like, nobody can see you. No lights, no nothing. Completely stopped or going 1 mile per hour. Like, ugh, makes me shudder just thinking that. I mean, oh man, this could be a whole different day if things are just adjusted slightly. So, always ride, you know, careful. You know, I let my guard down there. Luckily, it didn't result in anything. I mean, that's luck. That's what I mean by luck, you know? There's an old saying, and I promise I'm going to sign off after I say this, but you got two jars. You have a jar full of luck and a jar full of skill. You start out with a jar full of luck full, and the skill jar completely empty. And the idea is to fill up the skill jar before the luck jar runs out. Which means you got to practice your skills. You got to practice your defensive riding. You have to practice all of that staying safe stuff. And I know it sounds annoying. It sounds nanny-ish. It sounds like, you know, the P word. I understand that. It doesn't sound cool. But you know what? I'm 26 years old. I'm still young, but I understand that there's more to life than doing stupid things and getting messed up, and there's a time and a place for everything. You know, I have a family to go back home to. I have things I need to do. So, just, it's solid advice, I think. I would feel guilty if I was telling everybody to ride like an idiot. I don't think you guys should ride like idiots. I think we all have to be very careful out here, because at any moment, anything can happen. Like, somebody stopped right after a corner. Like, I know I'm against it, but I really should have said something to him. Just informed him. Like, not yelled at him, but I should have just said, please don't do that again. Please, dude. Just, I'm begging you, please don't do it. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Ride safe, take care, and bye-bye.
Let me live my life, the one I'd better lead. All the blondes of fantasies, and we looked at them 11 ways. You said, look at me, I looked away.